Hey, we got Jabari Davis coming up right now. Let's bring him on in. Jabari, how you doing?
How y'all doing, man?
Doing
Hey,
good, doing
Just
good.
got just got done eating dinner, man. So
hey, that's where we're heading. That's where we're heading next, man. That sounds good. How you been, Juice? You enjoy that game this weekend, bud?
absolutely loved it, man. One of the best moments of my life.
It was unreal, man. We've been talking about it a little bit here, and we got a couple of the game notes here. That 52 points was the most points scored on Alabama since 1907. How in the hell was Tennessee able to go up and down the field like that, Juice?
Man, when you got one of the best offensive coordinators in football, it's easy, man. I think utilizing our playmakers. When you got a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback, it takes a lot of pressure off you as a play caller because you know he's gonna get it done. When you have some of the best wide receivers in the country, it takes a lot of pressure off you as a play caller. When you have one of the best offensive lines in the country, man, people haven't gotten our offensive line a lot of credit. To me, they're just as big and a key to that victory as Jalen Hyatt. I mean, that offensive line put on an absolute clinic uh, last weekend. And when you have all of those things going in your favor, and defensively, you got guys that are playing like warriors out there, getting to the quarterback, giving their all. Even, we had some big plays on third downs that we didn't defend, but it's all about how you finish the game in the end, man, and we're able to capitalize and have one of the most historic wins in Tennessee history.
Talk about Josh Heupel and what he's meant to the Volunteers coming in and kind of straightening the ship a little bit. Um, no one they weren't really on anybody's radar. But right now they're on people's radar. What has he meant to this program?
He's been everything, man. A guy like him, like I said on another radio show or podcast, dogs recognize dogs. I mean, I was already high on him when he got hired because I remember him being a Heisman Trophy finalist
Oh yeah,
back when I was in high school, and I read about him and saw his resume, and he was more proven for the head coaching position than any other coach that we'd had.
yeah.
If you look at his resume of success as a player and as a coach, and when you have a guy that has been through those wars, you get a tremendous respect to him, and you look at him and you value him differently. So he's just been a great, 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 great person that we needed to get this fan base back excited, to get the former players back excited. A guy that doesn't really say a whole lot. As Tennessee, we're used to, a lot of the cliches and the hype talk and the selling and things like that. But, he was hired to simply destroy defensive coordinators
Yeah.
and put together some of the best play calling and best plays that you can execute in college football, and he's doing that. I mean, he is an assassin when it comes to that tempo offense.
Yeah, it's hard to defend. I mean, even teams like Bama that have a good defense, I mean,
Yeah,
they're just not much they can do with it when they get rolling and they start getting these guys gassed. They can't switch them out, and there's no cliches like you mentioned, Juice. There's no brick by brick being thrown out by this guy, man. He's just all
no,
about getting the kids to buy in and getting victories, and we saw that last year in year one. They started to look like a different team, and there started to be kids believing that they could win games. I just want to get your thoughts, Juice, on why this program struggled for so long. I mean, that we had a slew of coaches. We had
yeah,
you know,
and
we had good players, but it
yeah.
just never was able to put it together. And I just want to get your thoughts on why you think it took so long to get back.
Well, any organization or any business will fail when you don't have the top people um, at your best interest. You know, um, if you don't have a solid foundation and if you don't have the great support system and you don't have people that understand that football is the heartbeat to every major program in the SEC. If you can clean up the football program, everybody else will become successful. And when you have people in the administrative world that don't understand that, then you're going to have a lot of problems. So as soon as we get everything cleaned up on the administrative side, we got a chancellor that believed in the football program. We got a AD that believed in the football program, even though much respect to Coach Former. He's my former coach, and I know he was going to do a great job. He got thrown under, in a lot of stuff with Coach Pruitt, so don't want to say anything negative about him. But, whenever you have bad foundation, it's going to cause a lot of problems. So that's what it was. And, so much mismanaged money, giving guys raises that even did, these coaches didn't even deserve those raises.
No.
Haven't proven anything. Just a total cluster, cuss word when it came to that. And you see the collapse of the football program. And when you can't have that solid foundation, man, everything else is going to struggle. So that's what we've been dealing with the past 15 years, man. It's been everything. And I would say, that leaks down to the coaches, to the players. People don't value it the same like they used to. Players leaving, coaches leaving. Coaches don't value coaching college football anymore. They're looking for the money. So when we did have some good coaches, they came in 2 or 3 years, they were out.
Yep.
So college football has just changed, man. And you have people that aren't Tennessee people. They're just treating this organization or treating this as just a, like another job and not family. So, we got a lot of VFL blood in the building now, and they're going to do what's right to keep us rolling like we're doing now.
When you look at this year, there's a lot. We were talking about it before you joined us. A lot of teams, unexpected teams having success. Kansas got off to a good start. Tulane's undefeated. You got TCU undefeated. You knew USC was going to get better with Lincoln Riley going out there. But there's a lot of teams you didn't expect. You talked about the coaches and how they're not staying in one place. Do you think maybe this will settle the landscape if these teams continue to have these kind of winning records and maybe can get back and recruit the players they kind of want? Because I think sometimes they move on because they can't recruit the players.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, as long as we keep winning, you get that job security that you need as a coach. Hold on for a second. There we go.
This time on a 32.
Unfortunately, times are different. Like when I played, man, you got guys that coach 7-8 years at a program, even longer than that. A lot of these head coaches would stay. But as long as you're winning, man, you keep that job security. So it will influence a lot of coaches to buy in and try to build something special here. So that is a huge part of it. And when it comes to recruiting, I know as a former recruit over 20 years ago, you look for stability. You want to go somewhere where the coach is going to be there for the next 4 or 5 years, because how it plays a huge role when you don't have that coach there that recruited you, that met your family, that knows your story, that knows, what your motivation is and what you aspire to be. And a new guy could come in and disrupt everything and really mess your game up and your mindset up if he's not having that connection with you. Like, I'm a part of like, I know what it's like. My senior year at UT, we had a different coach came in as a running back coach, and we had a lot of different problems, but we end up straightening everything out. So coaches are very important.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And this football's changed so much, with the recruiting, with the new transfer portal and the ability to, switch schools and jump around. It's a whole new landscape. But I think that this coaching staff has got their heads right in the sense that they know what they're trying to build and what they're trying to do with this program. And I think that's one of the reasons that they've had so much success. And they've gotten over the hurdles, man. They beat Florida. They beat Bama. And I think these kids are believing what is your expectation moving forward with this team? I mean, obviously we got Bam out of the way, but now we got Georgia, we got some other teams. I mean, there's no easy game in the SEC. So what do you feel like is going to happen the rest of the way, Juice?
I think we can control our own destiny, man. We just gotta keep doing what we've been doing over these last couple of weeks that has made us very successful. Just keep controlling our destiny. Keep our eyes focused on getting to Atlanta for the SEC championship. Make sure that we're staying focused. Make sure that we are playing as a team. Make sure that we are giving everything that we have to every opponent and that we respect every opponent. Like this weekend, even though it's UT Martin, a lot of people are still talking about Alabama, which I am as well, like everybody else, because we're still celebrating. And you have the privilege to celebrate. I told another show, like, hey, I'm showing my ass all week. I'm still posting pictures. I'm about to light up another cigar tonight. I might replay the game and just celebrate again this weekend after the UT Martin game. But we can do that. But these players have to stay focused. One thing that you don't want to see is for us to lose focus, get caught up in the hype, get caught up in the press clippings in the media, and all of a sudden we lose a game that we have no business losing to, because of us not doing what we need to do as far as taking care of business. So as long as we keep playing with that mindset of win by any means, and we have that unstoppable attitude, and we're playing like a team, man, the Georgia game is going to be a really good test for us. But like I said, right now, man, I got Tennessee versus the world, and I got us playing, hopefully, for another big title, number one. And if, we'll see how it goes in Atlanta. But like Coach Former used to say, right now, let's get to Atlanta. Everything right now is about getting to Atlanta. Then we can control what we can control, and the rest will happen. If it's BCS, if it's national championship hopes, whatever it is. But let's control what we can do.
Juice, I want to ask you a question, because we were just talking about this early in the show. I was very critical about Penn State starting Sean Clifford. I don't know how much you watch Penn State, but to me, Sean Clifford is just an average college quarterback. And like I was talking to Nate, Nate was saying, he was disagreeing with me a little bit about it. And I wanted to get your aspect as a former player that, to my aspect is, I don't think Penn State really has a chance to win the Big Ten. But they were undefeated coming in this game, as Nate pointed out. So you got to play to win. My question is, when you're a player on a team like that, and you got it, Sean Clifford, and you kind of know what he is, but would you rather see him than go with the freshman and build for the future, or what would be your aspect for it?
You got to do what's been working, man. You got to do what's been working. I'm all about playing freshmen. I'm all about playing guys and getting a good change of pace. But sometimes at that quarterback position, that's what we're talking about, right?
Right.
The quarterback position in college football is one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And if, you don't want to put a lot of pressure on a guy, especially in the middle of the season and going into November, where you got a lot of those big games coming up, and you got to have a lot of experience in those big games to feel comfortable. To be comfortable and have that confidence with some of the guys with more experience. So I understand where you're coming from, and I understand what they're trying to do. I would probably do the same thing as a coach, having my guy that has had more experience in those moments, because I have more trust in him just putting in a true freshman right now.
Yeah, you don't want to wreck the kid by throwing him out there in front of 110,000 in his first game, man. You want to bring him along slowly, but
that happened to me my freshman year, man. Backing up Travis Stevens and playing in the swamp. Travis Stevens got hurt on a run, and they threw me in, and I was scared to death. I just knew I was gonna fumble and lose the game. But hey, I said a quick prayer. God, please don't let me drop the ball. God, please get me in the end zone. And God answered my prayers, man.
There's no doubt. Well, Juice, hey, before we get you out of here, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, man, with the Legends of Tennessee and all that. Just tell everybody a little bit about what you got going on now with helping with the camps and everything.
Thank you, man. The Legends of Tennessee is a nonprofit organization ran by former Vols mixed with a few current Vols. We do everything from football camps in the off season to mental health workshops to life skills symposiums to NIL opportunities with the current guys. And we travel all over the state of Tennessee just trying to make a difference, trying to educate, inspire, and motivate kids to be successful student athletes. And we give them our stories of, things we had to overcome as young kids and teaching them just the right way to do this thing. I think as a young kid now, you need those mentors in the community. You need those coaches in the community. You need those father figures to help you go in the right direction when everybody else is going left, and the world wants you to do what's wrong. You got to have people in the community that's going to tell you how to do it the right way, in the successful way, in the clean way, so you can keep your character high and always value every opportunity, how to have respect for your elders, respect for the people in your community that love and care about you, your coaches, your parents. And we're just giving them our stories of what it takes to get to that level. No matter if it's in football or in life, you need some type of help. And especially, with the mental health thing that's going on right now, post-COVID, a lot of kids have been struggling mentally. So we're just telling them, hey, it's okay to not be okay. If you need help, let us know. And we have these current football players, speaking of a guy like Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt was one of our football coaches during our camp season, and he did a tremendous job during the summer, not just showing kids how to play the wide receiver position, but just engaging with these kids, giving them a hug, giving them a high five, letting them know that he cares about them off the field. And when a kid, hears that from Jalen Hyatt, that's going to change a kid's mindset, man, to delete every negative thought, every negative opinion that he has heard from any other person, and think that he can reach for the stars in sports and life and in school. And that's what we're doing. And man, we have changed so many lives, saved so many lives, and helped so many kids from Middle Tennessee, West Tennessee to East Tennessee. If anybody wants to get involved with our organization, you can send us an email at legendsoftennessee.org. We will be traveling in February with the current players and the former players again, and we'll be working all the way into July, working with kids.
Nice. That's awesome, Juice, man. I'm going to come out and see you, and hopefully I'll run into you in one of these games.
Where are you located, man?
I'm here in Knoxville. I'm back in Knoxville. So
okay, yeah, man. I always give different podcasts and different people in the media world an opportunity to get some content. So if you ever want to come out to a camp, shoot me a message. I'll get you a media pass created, and you can interview all the guys, man.
I would love to, man. I would love to. I'd love to come out and hang out with you too, because I love what you're doing, and I certainly appreciate you helping these kids out.
And we do different fundraisers. We got a big fundraiser coming up for nonprofits called Giving Tuesday. That's December 1st. But just want to give thanks to the Tennessee fans that bought our VFL Legend cigars. We released some cigars going right after the Florida game, anticipating the Bama win. And that helps us fundraise to make sure that we can get those kids in camps, make sure we have T-shirts, food, travel arrangement for coaches, and make sure we have a great weekend in these communities. So Vol Nation, y'all really showed up and showed out with those cigars, and saw a ton of people smoking those cigars after the Alabama game. We supplied the team with over 120 cigars. I gave Peyton Manning a cigar.
I saw that.
He smoked one with me. Hey, let's keep celebrating.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
keep celebrating Bama as long as we need to. But let's
keep
focus.
I'm
Let's
keeping
focus on
winning and
that
getting more
Georgia.
reasons to celebrate.
Yeah, let's focus on that Georgia game.
Yeah, we'll get it done,
Let's focus
man.
on
Well,
that Georgia
hey,
game. If we beat Georgia, hey, we're gonna light up another one.
yeah. Well, hey, you celebrate this weekend, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You go enjoy yourself, and we'll hit you up when you get back, and I'll stay in touch with you, and I'll come see you and come to one of those camps and get it going.
All right, man. You're more than welcome. Y'all
All
take
right.
care. I appreciate you reaching out to me. God
All
bless.
right, Juice. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
a lot. Congratulations.
All right. Wow, that was sweet, man. I love Juice.
Guy.
He's a great guy, and I just wanted to let him tell his story a little bit about what he's doing now, because he's one of these guys that's stayed around in the community and continued to try and help others have success just like he did back in the day.
It means a lot coming from these guys, because, like you said, a lot of these guys been there, done that, rose above it, and teach. They set example for these kids. I mean, we can talk. These guys can read about it in books and stuff but when you're actually getting it from the person if eye to eye, and he's talking with you, and maybe you're at a low moment, but he talks to you about it, and he tells you about his low moment. It means a lot to these kids. That's who they listen to.
Well, yeah, and these kids, especially the ones that are coming up that are highly recruited. Okay, well, they've got so many people standing around telling them what they want to hear. And they've got so many people pulling on them every which way. And
right.
You need people like Juice to tell them, what's going to happen, and give them, a little bit of an insight into how it's going to occur down the road, so that they can see it from all angles, and that they can map out what's best for them, instead of just listening to what, all these voices that are coming from around the way. They get somebody that's been there, done that, and can tell them, the best way to go about the whole process, so that they can be set up for success and not get in the wrong situation.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's always a tragedy when you hear about the guy who had his chance and then just kind of didn't get it done, or listened to the wrong words, or tried to help guys from his old hometown and bring them along, and then it just becomes a huge problem. So, yeah, it's good that there's someone out there that's been there, done that, and can teach them the right way. We got a few minutes left. We got to get our picks for the week.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, you go first.
All right. I was 2-1 last week, which brings me to 10-8 on the year. So I'm going to give 6.5 points to Cleveland and go with Baltimore. I'm going to give 4.5 points to Washington and go with Green Bay. And I'm going to take 6.5 points from Cincinnati, and I'm going with Atlanta.
I have got Atlanta also in that game, so write me down for that one. I've also got the Packers, who are favored by 4.5, but I feel like they're going to get right this weekend. I mean, the Commanders sucked before Carson Wentz got hurt, and I feel like they're going to suck after. So I'm taking the Packers. I got the Falcons, and then I've also going to take the Giants. The Jacksonville Jaguars are actually favored by 3 points.
Yeah, I was looking hard at that game myself, but
I'm taking the Giants, man. I mean, hell, maybe they won't win, but I feel like they will. I'm gonna stick with them. I think they're on the winning way, and I feel like the Jaguars have taken some lumps the last few weeks. Everybody was ready to jump on the Jaguar bandwagon after those 2 games, those 2 wins, but it's hard to win down there after several seasons of losing, and I feel like the Giants have got things going the right direction.
Yeah, I think. Well, we talked about it. I think the Giants do have it. I think they finally got their coach, at least for the foreseeable future. Just like Robert Saleh, I think we're going to have some good times in New York City with football coming up for the next few years, as long as the health stays and as long as they stay on course. And I think they've got the right people, and it's nice to see the NFC East not be such a joke, because Philly is right now, hands down, the best team in football. Dallas is going to get Dak back, and they've got a great defense, and we'll see if that improves their offense a little bit. And the Giants, hey, they're a feel-good story. And also, look at what New England did this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little shocked by, New England there for a couple of weeks, but it looks like they're getting back to where they should be. And I think this brings up a great question and something that I wanted to hit on, but we never really got to. What do you do now if you're Bill Belichick? You got Mac Jones, who's only in his second year and hasn't knocked the world apart with his play, and at times earlier this year struggled mightily to even get the offense going at all. You bring in this kid who, would they draft him in the 6th, 7th round, maybe? Bailey Zappi, who, really wasn't expected to play this year, but he's worked his way up, got to the 3rd string position, went in when Brian Hoyer got knocked out, and has just looked good since getting there. And he's not setting the world on fire stats wise, but he's winning games. Do you take this kid out and put Mac Jones back in, or you keep riding the hot hand? I mean, I don't think you rush to get Mac Jones back on the field. What do you think?
I think we've seen it before. I think, I remember back in Cleveland when, that he benched Bernie Kosar, the hometown hero, for Vinny Testaverde, because he thought Vinny Testaverde gave him a great chance. People forget Drew Bledsoe was the number 1 overall pick, led New England to a Super Bowl, and when Brady was the hot hand, he benched Bledsoe. So he's about winning, and he, you sit there and you can say what you want about Bill Belichick. Is he cold-hearted? Well, you have to be in that business. But I mean, look at one thing that came out this weekend, and it's funny. Everybody, remember when everybody said, "Oh my God, he let J.C. Jackson get away"? Maybe he knew something we didn't know.
Yeah. Well, Stephon Gilmore, he let him go. Everybody was going nuts because he let Stephon Gilmore get out of town after he had, won the Defensive Player of the Year award.
Lawyer Malloy early in the run, Ty Law. I mean, when it comes to making hard decisions, he will make the hard decision. Yeah. And usually it works out for him.
Well, how can you take this kid out, man? Think about this last week. They're playing Cleveland. Bailey Zappi goes out 24-34, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. They dropped 38 points on the Browns in Cleveland. Makes Jacoby Brissett look pedestrian at best. I just don't think you can take this kid out after what he's done. And no. This kid started out at a very, very small school. I believe it was a FCS school, and, excelled there, threw for all kinds of yards and broke all these records. Then he transferred to Western Kentucky, which is a D1 program. Everybody's like, I don't know if he can do it here. Then he throws for 66 touchdowns and 6,000 yards at Western Kentucky. And then they're like, well, yeah, he did that, but he's not going to be able to make it in the NFL. And here he is throwing touchdowns in the NFL and winning football games for the New England Patriots. And I just think this is the kind of story that, Bill Belichick lives for. And the guy's won 324 games. He just passed George Halas on the all-time record. He knows how to win.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zappi stays in there. I'd put it this way. There's no reason to rush Mac Jones back. We all know, high ankle sprains are tricky. He might not be ready for a few more weeks, or if at all this year. Who knows? So at least he's got his second quarterback. And it's not like you said, it's not like Mac Jones was setting the world on fire. He was a nice surprise last year, but he was still learning. And if Bailey Zappi turns out to be the guy that can take the Patriots to a higher level, Belichick's going to make the choice.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is it's not like he's been entrenched for 10 years in the Patriot way, getting it done, winning Super Bowls. He's never won anything. They made the playoffs last year, but let's be honest, that was more based on their defense and their running game. The one game, he threw it 3 times in the entire game, and they beat the Buffalo Bills. So I'm not ready to just hand him the quarterback of the year trophy. I mean, he's make him earn it, man. I mean, if he is better than Bailey Zappi, well, then, put him back in there. But I'm not so sure he is.
Well, before we go, the one thing I want to say, I am very scared for Tua this weekend. Yeah, I think he's coming back too early.
I do too. And I was the one that said I didn't think he should have been playing in that game versus Cincinnati. I didn't think that was a great idea. I saw him stagger like he did in that Bills game, and I was like, man, they just put him back in because they wanted to win. I didn't think that was in his best interest going back into the Bills game, and I certainly didn't think it was in his best interest to play 5 days later on Thursday Night Football. But they did it, and then he gets injured, and now I feel like they're rushing him back again. And I know he wants to play. He doesn't want to lose his job. He wants to, be recognized as a great quarterback. I get all that. He should want that, but he should also have people in his corner fighting for him and his health and his future. Because if he gets another concussion and gets knocked out and can never play again, well, then it doesn't matter and it's all for naught. So I'm not sure this is the best idea, and I'm really scared for him. And football in general, man. If we have another scene like we had last Thursday, I'm telling you, it's not going to be good for the league or for the game in general.
No, and this is where Robert Goodell should step in. Or Roger Goodell should step in.
Whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, this is where he should step in and say, "Hey, wait a minute. I want him to come up to New York. We're going to send him to a neurosurgeon up here to take a look at him."
Yeah, and supposedly he's seen, he's been seeing other doctors, and he's been, being interviewed by the Players Association, the league, the team, all this and that. But why not err on the side of caution?
Right.
I mean, we've seen this play out on national television twice in the last 4 weeks, where it's just been an ugly scene and a black eye for the league. Why rush him back to get him out on the field this week? I just don't understand it, and I just hope he's okay.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, thank you for Jabari Juice Davis coming in here and giving us a little bit of his time as he gets ready to go down the aisle this weekend. He's a great guest. What are you be doing on man coverage on Sunday?
We're going to be riding the Tennessee wave. I think we're going to have Chris Hannon on the show, who's another former Vol who played in the NFL for the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to try and get him on the show this weekend. If not, we'll find somebody. But I talked to Chris, and hopefully he's going to join us. But we're going to keep talking Tennessee Vols. Hell, why not? They beat the crap out of the Bama, the Bama's
Sabanites.
The Sabanites. The Bama has been the measuring stick for the rest of college football since Nick Saban got there.
Yeah.
And, they took him out. And as I said, I don't think Bama's going away. I think they still have a really good shot to win the West. And, hell, they may play Tennessee again. But that was a huge victory, and we're going to break it down even further on Sunday at main coverage.
Well, I was extremely jealous you were there, because that is one of those games that you look back on and say, hey, I was there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. I'll never forget in 2006 when I was in Columbus, when number 1 Ohio State played number 2 Michigan, and Troy Smith and the boys got it done 42-39. So a similar 3-point margin of victory. And that was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. And I'll never forget it. Running down the field, we tore up a piece of turf and had it growing in our backyard in a pot for the next 10 years. And I didn't run down on the field this time because I'm a little bit older than I was in 2006. Well, but I got to enjoy it up in the stands.
That's for sure. And they look kind of dangerous there down there in the field.
Yeah, I didn't want to run down there and get hit by the goalpost.
Here you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thank you to Jabari. Nate, have a great weekend, and we will be back next week. The Safety and the Sports Writer. Take it easy, everybody.
Thanks.